Welcome to this webinar. I really acknowledge that you've taken some time out to work on yourself and invest that time into your own needs and goals, which will really help you to become more fulfilled and happy in life and feel like you're really achieving with your health and fitness long term. So when you neglect yourself, this is when you start to become stuck and might feel like you're in a rut. And this is when mental health can also become unbalanced if we're physically not at our goals either. We know that anxiety and depression are common today, and part of the reason is a mismatch of expectations of how we expect our life and health to be and how it is, or what we can realistically do with our personal situations. So this webinar will uncover the foundation of successful goal setting and reveal to you why or why not you may have been achieving or not achieving your goals. And we're really going to help you focus on different areas of life, look at it holistically, and take some positive steps to make that change and make it happen. My name's Vanessa Bartlett. For those of you who don't know me, been in the health and fitness industry for over 15 years, personal training years back, and then my health fell apart, got adrenal fatigue, which is chronic fatigue-like symptoms for a couple of years, and really had to pull back on everything, which is what led me to do more of a Pilates and holistic approach to health and fitness. So it's my mission now to help you and other people around the world really discover the healthiest body that they can and be able to sustain their exercise no matter what age, no matter what issues that they've had. So I've gone on to train professional athletes in Pilates and health, and done some presenting for TV and online. So always hit me up with some questions. I love helping you with anything related to this topic, mindset, health and fitness. So for now, let's go back to goal setting and what it can do for you. So this is really going to help you to become more happier and fulfilled and help you stay in that positive frame of mind as you move forward with your goals. And as you achieve one thing, you'll then be able to keep moving forward rather than going through those plateaus. So today what we're going to cover is, as I said, the missing link to what is underlying goal setting success. And this is, looking at your health and fitness as more of a holistic way of lifestyle now. So it's no longer just about losing a few kilos or starting to feel better or eat better. What does that actually mean, and what does it mean to you as a person? So we're going to dig a little deeper on what it actually means to you and discover your values as a person. We're going to look at other aspects of life as well. So I've got a particular exercise for you called the Wheel of Life, which we're going to do in this process, which will help you identify what's important to you in other areas of life. So even looking at things like relationships and environment and finances, because everything is linked, and we want to look at our life as a holistic way and something that's unified with all these different aspects, not just about exercise physically anymore. Mental health and everything is really important. So we're going to go through that step by step, and I'm going to take you through the 4-step process. Now, I follow a man named Dr. John Demartini. He's actually an expert in human behavior and has studied over 20,000 books in his career, including psychology, counseling, psychotherapy, medicine, alternative medicine. He's basically a master of everything to do with human behavior and really getting the best out of people. So I follow him in terms of mindset and in terms of goal setting, because he takes it that step further than other people glossing over the top of goal setting to really get people good results. So this is what I'm going to base teaching you guys on, is his particular process of identifying values first up. So here's step 1 in our process. We're going to identify your own personal values. This is the underlying foundation to goal setting. This is what's really important, and this is what you're going to do right now to actually take a look at what things mean to you and get some real meaning behind what you're goal setting for, because often we might set goals according to what society expects of us or what other people expect of us. And we've got to look at where those beliefs have started and why it is that we want certain things and if it's actually realistic for us. So grab your pen and paper. You're going to go through and identify 3 items with each of these 11 questions, okay? So I'm going to go through. You might want to pause this at some point because there is quite a bit and you might want to review it, but I'm going to keep moving to get through this through this for you. So number 1, we're going to look at our space. This is going to help you determine what type of person you are in these various categories. Number 1, what 3 items are in your space? So what is it that consumes you, or what is it that's in your environment most most commonly, and more than other things. So for example, does your space or your environment at home or work, is it filled with designer clothes and fashion? Is that a passion of yours? Is it filled with photos of your children, or maybe photos of traveling around the world? What's it filled with? Is it filled with health and fitness books and magazines? Is it filled with recipes? Maybe you love cooking. Is it filled with renovation tools? Maybe you love renovating. So look at your space, what actually surrounds you, what fills it, and this will this will actually help you to start to form an idea of your own personal patterns without even realizing what you do. So just jot those things down now. Next is looking at where do you spend your time. So what are the 3 items that you would spend most time on every single day? What does your day look like? Actually break it down, and then you'll start to get an idea of what actually means something to you with regards to where you spend your time. So if you're spending, for example, 8 hours a day in a job, then that's important to you on some level. So you dig deeper. Why is it important to you? Why would you do that? For example, some people might spend hours a day child-minding their family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, things like that. Or you might spend many hours of your day doing exercise or simply reading, taking time out for yourself. So look at where you spend your time the most, and you'll very soon see what that means to you and what's important to you in that regard. The next one, number 3, how you gain your energy. So we're looking here at our own personal values of what actually makes us feel energized. So how do you gain energy? Do you go for a walk in the park with no one around? Or do you gain energy by coming to a fitness class with other people around? And you know that you're going to feel much more energized and alive after that class, being surrounded by people and doing your own workout. But for some, that might actually drain you. You prefer to do your exercise on your own at home or in a park somewhere. So look at that, because that will also help to drive and determine your goals and your level of achievement with your goals, because you're identifying what means something to you and starting to understand why it is you do what you do, and what it is that gives you energy, doesn't take you energy, take away energy from you. This is really important when we're goal setting. Next is looking at where you spend your money. Where do your funds go? Where do your finances actually go? What are the top 3 things that money goes to? Are you on track with your budget? Things like that. So consider your money habits and where you actually spend money. For example, some people might want to spend money on, again, saving up and going on a great big holiday every single year. Some might want to save and do renovations every year, or buy investment properties every year. Some might want to some just might spend money on, for example, private schooling for their children. Some might not spend money on that, but spend money on family holidays instead, or, health and fitness for the family or yourself. So what is it that's important to you, where you spend your money? This is really going to help you identify, again, where you what's most important to you as an individual person, without going on what society expects of you for goal setting. Number 5, how are you most ordered? Where does your energy go in terms of organizing things? Are you on top of organizing the weekly schedule with kids' sports, or your own schedule with work? Are you really fantastic at doing events at work and making sure your boss, or yourself are really organized with things? Or do you put most energy and you're ordered with your home finances? Or perhaps you're ordered with going to your fitness sessions no matter what. You're very structured with that, and that happens no matter what, because that's a priority to you, that's a value to you. So again, start to think about where you're most ordered in your weekly life, and again, how that affects you as a person and what gives you energy. So these things will all start to come together very soon, and you'll realize, oh, okay, my top items are XYZ categories. My main priority in life or value in life is family, or my main value in life is health and fitness, or career, or business, or relationships. Whatever that is to you will start to really show up soon, putting these together without even thinking about it. Whereas for some people, that getting up, doing that 15 minutes is really difficult, and they really have to push to do it. because they don't value it as much internally as what the person does who does go for that walk 15 minutes every day without a second thought. So where are you most disciplined and focused? Are you disciplined and focused with organizing social events, for example, and that is valuable to you? So you can, wake up at midnight and go, yes, I want to organize this social event for my friends or family this weekend, and you really thrive on that. So where are you most disciplined and focused? Where do you put your energy into? Number 7, what is it that you think about that shows evidence of coming true? So what do you visualize and dream about that actually shows up in your life that's reality? For example, if you had a particular goal or a dream to buy, I don't know, a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, let's just say, is that a fantasy or is that a realistic goal, and do you actually achieve it? So if you did, in 10 years get that Lamborghini for whatever reason, because you've broken down your goal and you've actually taken steps to achieve that, well, that means that that's actually shown up and evidence that it's true. It's not just a fantasy. So DeMartini refers to this as whether it's a fantasy in your mind that's actually not real to you internally, or if things are real to you, you will actually make them happen and take the appropriate steps to do so. So really have a think about what shows up as evidence of coming true in your life that's not just fantasy. Another example could be you have saved money and you're renovating your family home, which is a great goal. Like you may have achieved that and put some money into that, or bought your dream house or built your dream house. That will be an example of dreaming about something, but it's actually a reality because it's coming true in your life. So what is it that you think about and shows evidence of coming true that shows up, even more than once? That's a value to yourself. If you're always dreaming about a Ferrari and going, oh my gosh, I love Ferraris, I love them so much, but it's just a fantasy, you're not actually taking steps to put into place to achieve it, to go, well, how would I actually want to achieve this? Number 8, what do you say about yourself? This is really important. What is your internal dialogue day to day, minute to minute even? What do you say about yourself to yourself? What do you say when you're at work, when you're about to start a health and fitness routine? Are you positive? Are you negative? What are the thoughts and the words that go through your mind? How do you actually think and feel about yourself? So really getting serious and real about this step is very, very important, because it helps us to face ourselves and helps us to stop self-sabotaging. So that's when you want to do something, but then something holds you back. You join a gym and then you go, oh, no, I can't do it, and you quit. Or you start to save money, you save 10 grand to, buy an investment property, but then you go, no, I'm going to just spend it on a holiday because I'm feeling down. Whereas you've just ruined the goal that you set previously by tapping into that money. So what do you say about yourself? What are you doing to self-sabotage? Or what are you doing to positively move yourself forward? That's also great as well. Acknowledge both. What is your internal dialogue day to day with different things? And what's the main self-talk? So let's say the top 3 things that you would say to yourself with anything. This will give us a really good idea on our personal identity within our values. Number 9, what do you talk about that makes you feel alive? Where do you take conversations? For example, no matter who I'm talking to at any time of day, for some reason, it will always go into Pilates, health, fitness, healthy eating, a new healthy salad recipe. Even if I'm really dead tired, it will, my mind and my subconscious and my every entire being, as you've probably realized, goes towards this. And that was always happening from quite a young age. I was getting up doing aerobics hostile when I was about 8 years old. So my internal feelings, thoughts, movements as a person has always gone towards health and fitness. For some reason, I just love it, and I love helping people in this space. This is probably my highest value, one of my highest values. So what do you talk about that makes you feel alive, and that you could start up a conversation at any time, anywhere, no matter how tired you are, no matter what the topic is? Like, for example, I have no interest in politics or stuff like that creates divisions between people. I just have no interest in it. So I would not openly or excitedly discuss, those sorts of things with people, because it's just not important, as important to me as health and fitness, for example, and being happy. What do you bring to conversation? Where does your mind
and spirit and being take you? Career, health, family. Do you like talking about your family? Do you like talking about your career moves or what's happening next at work? These things are all really good to also identify your values. Number 10, what brings you inspiration? What inspires you in life? What do you look to on social media? What do you look to on TV? What brings you to an emotional level where you're actually moved to take action on something or wanting to read up on something? So that's the next one then. What topics do you want to read up about, learn about the most? What do you invest time into? What would you sit and read about? Would you sit and read health and fitness magazines, or would you sit and read, TV Week or something, which is also fine? What's more valuable to you as a person? What topics do you want to read about? So what we're going to then do is go through each of those questions. So there was 11 there. You can review this webinar to go through them if you want. Go through each category, okay? So you should have about 3 items in each category. Then scan the whole thing. How many times does a similar item show up? Some will show up 3 times, some might show up 10 or 15 times within this exercise. You'll then start to see your top values. So just go through with a highlighter and highlight all the common ones. Highlight, for example, if family shows up in most of these questions for you, then family is your highest value. That if it's shown up, 15 times, family, family, family with all these questions, then that is one of your highest values. Highlight it, acknowledge it. If health and fitness is, then highlight that. If, career, whatever it is, or, being great at home renovations, whatever your top value is, whatever you love, gardening, that might be important to you. Start to recognize, and then you can then see what your identity and your life revolves around, and this is what determines your life, your happiness, your goal setting. So then what you do is you then fill your day with your values, and that's how you become more fulfilled and be able to set goals that are conducive to you as an individual. And what we want to do here is, once you've established this, it'll probably be a real big shock or a really good acknowledgement to go, okay, yes, well, this is why I am XYZ of a person. This is why I find it hard to do exercise at home. I need to go into a group. I am a social person, so therefore I always need to make sure my exercise sessions are in a group, and therefore I will succeed. I cannot do, a 10-minute walk on my own. It's not going to happen. I must go to a class. That's an example. So then you've established, well, that's great. So then how do we implement tasks to fulfill your values that are conducive to you? Okay, and that's how it works. So if you've got any questions on this area, please write it in the comments below. There's quite a bit of info here. Now let's move on. So we're not going to take up too much of your time with this because it is quite in depth. All right. So basically, after completing that process, you've identified your top 3 highest values. So step 2 is the wheel of life. So we want to take daily actions some time out to actually review where we're at. So then you delegate all other priorities.
So if you look at this wheel of life, there's different aspects. So there's romance or relationships.
So if you don't want to do house cleaning, if you absolutely hate it, you don't have time,
career,
but you
health,
want to do everything else, you get finances and
friends
health
and family, environment,
you hate house
and
cleaning,
finances
well, you know
as well.
what? Look at getting
so each of these categories has an impact
so low down on your list and you can't
how you are as a person day to day. You want to try and maximize your happiness and
where can I fit
achievement in each of these categories to be really
so
happy,
that will
to be really fulfilled.
really
so
help you
again, we're looking
with
past
your
just health and fitness.
With your
you
goal
can
setting
of course
and achievement
apply this to health and fitness, but
right,
as I said,
so
we want to start to look at our lifestyle holistically here. So that's why I'm going into this in a bit more depth with you.
This is so right now. I'd like you to just draw that circle, or you can print it out from the slides here. And actually
where you're
rate yourself out of 10 on each of these categories. So, all right, where are you at right now for fun and recreation, social? Do you spend time on that? Is it important to you? Where are you at right now? Score it out of 10. What about career? Where are you with that out of 10, if that's important to you? What about health and fitness? Where's that out of 10? That includes body, that includes fitness, that includes self-image, that includes mental health, that includes physical health. Think of those things, which encompasses the whole bracket of health. Rate it out of 10. Then we've got personal development. Do you actually spend time learning, reading, educating? Sometimes people go years and years without picking up a book since high school or uni or TAFE or whatever people did. So it's really important to keep growing yourself and keep learning and developing new skills and insights through life to stay happy, to stay fulfilled, and to keep you thriving. Personal development, where's that out of 10? Like, I personally spend tens of thousands of dollars the last 5 to 10 years on personal development, tens of thousands, to really learn from great people, to really improve myself, and to be able to give more to others, and to give more to my business, my family, my friends. I invest a lot. That's very important to me. So I would rate that one quite high for myself. So what is it for you? Do you spend time on that? And if not, then why? Why wouldn't you want to look at continuing to improve yourself, which will then affect all the other categories as well? So the next one out of 10, how do you rate relationships with friends and family? How is that for you? Do you hold grudges? Do you need to work on yourself to maybe forgive people? Of course, things happen in life. We know that. This isn't a, relationship counseling webinar, but just to touch on that, that's also important as to how your relationships are. Rate that out of 10. Next one is environment. Your living situation, your work situation, your car, your environments that you live and work in. How are those environments? Are they positive? Are they healthy? Are they clean? Do they have nice order? I know sometimes I get into a bit of a mess, especially with a new baby, but then I get into my moods where I really need to clean and go, okay, I need to fix my environment here to get a clear head, I need to clean my car, or I need to clean the desk and workspace area. And when I do that, my gosh, you feel so much better. So really staying on top of a clean, positive environment, physically and mentally, is really healthy and important as well. So rate that out of 10. And then next is finances. Rate that out of 10. Do you know where your finances are at? Do you have control over your finances? Are you putting money into things that are important to you? So that's a very personal thing, of course, but do rate it out of 10 and acknowledge that as well. As I said, it does impact on everything else. Everything's connected here. That's why it's the wheel of life. It's our life as a whole, not just as individual components. We want to look at it holistically. Okay, so now that you've established that, you can take a few moments. You might want to pause the webinar for a little bit to actually reflect on all this, because you've done quite a bit with the values, determination, and now the wheel of life. Step 3 is we're going to set goals. So you want to set goals that are specific and achievable, personal to you. Okay, so here's a few tips. You want to set goals to improve the areas that you want to work on. So considering those aspects that we've discussed on the wheel of life, look at what's important to you based on your values, and then maybe just set goals for those and do the rest later. So for example, career might not be that much of a value to you. You might be more of a finance person or a family person, and that's fine. So maybe set goals for the top 3. Don't set goals for every area just yet, but do acknowledge them, okay? So either way, I want you to think about what you want to achieve. And this can be short-term or long-term. Look, we do want to set short-term goals. So if looking at the next, say, 90 days, that's a really good framework to look at and review at anyway, which is what we do later on. So the next 3 months, what do you want to do with your top 3 areas? But also write a goal down in every area. So let's say your top 3 areas is health, career, and friends and family. Write down 3 goals for the next 90 days in each of those areas, and just 1 goal in the other areas that aren't as important to you, or 1 task that you could do to move forward, so we don't have to go as in depth. So just the top 3 areas that are most important, go in a little more in depth, okay? Now remember, it has to be personal, be clear. So for example, increasing your fitness. So rather than just say, get fit, what do you want to do? Do you want to complete 20 push-ups in the next 3 months on your toes as a full push-up? And now you can only do 2. Okay, that's great. That's a great goal, and that's achievable in the next 3 months. What do we need to do daily to make that happen? Okay, so you break it down. That's all we're doing here. We're looking at the goal, making it realistic and specific, and then we're breaking it down week by week, day by day, so that it becomes a daily or a weekly task to achieve that goal. It's very specific. It's not just a fantasy anymore. Like we said before with the Ferrari example, it could be a fantasy because, it's so-called a lot of money to some people it is not. But if it is a serious thing that you want to achieve, that you go, oh no, I could never do that. Well, if you really want it and it's valuable to you, you will find a way. So if you want to, invest in property or something to really increase your income to be able to get a Ferrari, then you would make it part of your goal setting and actually make it real, not just a fantasy. So again, it's stuff that's important to you. A big tip here, write in a journal or on paper. Yes, you can type up notes. You might have an electronic organizer. That's all good. But pen to paper studies show people achieve more likely, 80% more likely to achieve goals when you put pen to paper and you actually write it down as something very tangible and very, I suppose, more you're more connected to your goals when you write it, when it comes from your own hand, because you've thought about it, you've felt it, it's more internal for you, and therefore your brain acknowledges it as more internal as well. Next tip is check your attitude. So when we're checking our attitude, we want to make sure that you're actually looking at the type of person you are. So going back to that inner monologue is important. Okay, are you a doer or a whinger? What's your attitude with different things? You might go, oh, this is too hard, blah, blah, blah. Well, in that case, you're never going to work towards anything positive. So you've got to face reality and go, what type of person are you? Are you positive or negative? It's not just about being happy-go-lucky with every single situation. We need to acknowledge all of our emotions throughout life and acknowledge ups and downs. Yes, we get that. But are you generally a positive person that can see an opportunity in a crappy situation? Okay, so check your attitude. If you find that you're just moving through motions of life, then it's time to do something new. This is where you might want to commit to doing, the city to surf, or walking a runathon or a marathon, or doing something really out of your framework for your health and fitness, to go, well, if that's the goal, let's break it down, and it will really then help you to stay on track week to week because you've got a big goal in mind. Okay, so checking your attitude as well. This will really allow your energy and brain to perk up with some new inspiration and joy, which will in turn boost you and improve your outlook on life. Okay, so we're all responsible for our own choices. If you want positive change, you've got to make decisions to commit to what's important to you, not what's important to others. Remember that what are your highest values? Okay, next is we want to be accountable. This is another important part of actually achieving. So you can write out the goals. You can do this entire exercise up until now. If you're not accountable to yourself and other people, you most likely will not achieve it. Once you've set some goals, you have to set reminders to check in with your tasks. Review on a Sunday or a Saturday. Have you done XYZ 3 days this week to get to that 20 full push-ups that you want to do to get your body strong and healthy and fit? If you can do 20 full push-ups, you're going pretty well with your health and fitness. But if you can only do 1 or 2 at the moment, well, you need to increase your strength. You've got to build your core, you've got to build your posture, and you really take a step up with your health and your body strength if you can achieve this goal. So being accountable though, are you going to do the actions that you said you would? Are you going to do it, or is it again just going to become a fantasy? Oh yeah, one day I might be able to do push-ups. Oh, I could never do that. Well, what is it for you? Are you talking positively? Are you framing it positively within your own mind? And are you going to do the tasks that require you to achieve it? Okay, so choosing the right people or right person to be accountable to. Other than yourself, I highly recommend diarising and journaling every week for different things. That's what I personally do now for business and personal. And I'll find I'm much more accountable to myself and my other group that I'm part of for business, for example. In health and fitness, I feel accountable to you guys as well as my clients, but also my friends and my colleagues within this health and fitness journey. I feel accountable to you to set an example, to show you that I'm doing these things. I'm not going to preach to you if I'm not doing certain things. So everything I teach you guys, I actually do myself. I'm accountable to you, but I want you to be accountable to yourself and to us and to our group as well. By being accountable, you're more likely to achieve your goals. This is using peer pressure in a positive way, for example, not in a negative way. Use the Facebook group that we have. Use, people that you meet in your classes to be accountable. You might go, you know what, I'll meet you here Monday night and Thursday night, 100% without fail. Okay, we'll get babysitters if we have to, but let's both make it here for the next 3 weeks without fail, because we've been chopping and changing classes. I want to commit to the 2 same days here, and meet a friend to do that with. That's also good. So life is what you make of it. Many of us are so lucky to have so much, right? But you need to be accountable to build your achievement levels to have what you want in life. Okay, so we want to ditch airy-fairy resolutions and, airy-fairy goal setting, lose weight, etc., etc. Let's just get real and actually create some concrete goals. Okay, so no more whinging, no more negative thinking. Okay, so moving on from that, now you've set your goals. If you need any help on that, please comment below and I'll help you break your goals down as well to make it more realistic and achievable. All right, so then the next step is to actually recap. So we want to regularly review all of our goals in each area. Every 90 days is ideal. So 3 months is a good amount of time for you to set a goal and achieve it, okay? Look, monthly is great as well. You should check in monthly with your tasks to make sure that you're on track for the 90 days. But then ultimately 90 days is a really great amount of time to really take a step and look, okay, what have I done for a quarter of the year? 90 days is a quarter of your year. That's already one quarter gone, okay? So time is our most valuable asset. All of us have a limited amount of time here. That's a guarantee, no doubt about it. So you really want to look at how you're spending time. And I've mentioned this in some other videos as well. Time is important. So reviewing, taking time. And people sometimes go, I'm too busy to review. I'm too busy to set goals. I'm too busy to stop and do these sorts of exercises. Well, really,